Good morning, students. Welcome back. I hope so. Everyone is good. Everyone is fine. So, this is lecture 2 from chapter number 6, Manufacturing Industries, class 10, subject Geography. So, in the previous lecture from this chapter, we have started off with this new chapter, which is Manufacturing Industries, and we have talked about what is basically manufacturing, what is its importance in our day-to-day life, how it is helping in the development of national economy, what is the contribution of industry to our national economy, how you can set up the industry, how you can locate the industries. So we have talked about all these things. Now in this particular lecture, we are going to talk about the topics that we are going to cover will be the classification of industries. So in the previous lecture, I told you about what are the industries. Now in detail, I will let you know about how these industries are varied from each other and how you can classify these industries on the basis of like raw material, their roles, the capital investment, ownership, and etc. etc. Then after that, we'll talk about the started off with the main industries, that is agro-based industries. We'll start off with that, and in that we'll cover textile industries, cotton textiles, jute textiles, sugar textiles, etc. etc. We'll cover all these things and we'll cover all the challenges they face in these kind of industries as well. Then I will let you know about the homework solution and the homework that I'm going to assign you in this particular lecture. So these will be the things that we are going to be covering in this particular lecture. So let's get started with the lecture now. So first of all, we are going to talk about the classification of industries here. So now there is a list of various manufacturing products out there that we use on a daily basis. Like if you go around, you will see there will be stalls that are selling fruits, vegetables, then there will be shops that will be selling fans, electric bulbs, and there will be shops like they will be selling medicines, then there will be certain showrooms which will be selling these cars, automobiles, etc. So every industry is different from one another. They are selling their own products. So now the question is how they are made and how they are there in such a large quantities in these retail shops. What kind of industries are they based on? So to classify that, we have certain measurements that we can count it on. So it is classified on the basis and on the sources of raw material first of all. Like if we talk about raw material that has been used, I have just told you about, there are raw materials are basically we are taking out from the nature, from the environment. So जो भी हम चीजें nature से ले रहे हैं, जो भी चीज हम environment से ले रहे हैं, they are included in the raw material because you are extracting those things. So it is basically classified into two categories. The first one is the agro-based, that is the use of agricultural raw material. Like you eat on a daily basis these sugar, cotton, tea, coffee, ये जो चीजें होती हैं, they are being extracted from the agriculture, farming and agricultural raw materials इनको हम use करते हैं. So basically if we have to describe about agro-based, we can classify agro-based on the basis of that is used in the agriculture raw materials. For example, if you have to describe agro-based, it is cotton, wool, jute, silk, textile, rubber and sugar, tea, coffee, etc. So these could be the examples, best examples suitable to explain what are agro-based industries. Now if we talk of same about the mineral based industries. So mineral based industries are basically the minerals as raw material. So all the mining activities that we do, or that we extract all the minerals out from the land area or from these underground areas, we mine through these minerals and use them as a raw material to make other products. So all the mineral base are basically using of minerals as a raw material in to make other valuable products out of it. So it is just in mineral base are basically you are using the minerals as raw material, that's it. So it is including iron and steel, you can say that cement, aluminum, machine tools, etc. So these all are categorized into these mineral based industries. So we are clear with the first one, that is on the basis of raw material. Then there are certain roles as well. Now according to their main role, it has been classified into two different categories. The first one is the basic and key category, and the second one is the consumer industry. So what is the difference between these two now? Now if we talk about the basic or key industry, in that they supply their product or raw materials to manufacture other goods. So now they are using all these raw material to manufacture the finished goods, or to make the finished products out of them to make valuable products. So they are using these basic raw materials to manufacture other goods out of them. So that is the basic or key industry. Now there can be 2 or 3 levels into this. Like in raw material ka, jaise you have taken all these raw material to make finished goods. Now these all goods can be used in to make some other products. Like it is not directly going and transmitting to market. It is being transferred to next factories or any other industry which they need it. Like a cloth industry, like cotton industry. So they are manufacturing the clothes out of there. बट नाउ अब उसको गारमेंट बनाना है, तो गारमेंट्स बनाने के लिए क्या होता है, दे आर यूजिंग डिफरेंट पैटर्न्स. तो वो कपड़ा जाता है दूसरी इंडस्ट्री में टू मेक दीज क्लोथ्स इनटू सम फैशनेबल क्लोथ्स, सो दैट उसके बाद वो मार्केट में जाएगा एंड वेयर यू कैन बाय इट फ्रॉम. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स आर बेसिकली जो फर्स्ट टू सेकेंड लेवल, और इनमें बहुत सारे लेवल्स आ जाते हैं. तो दैट इज द बेसिक और की इंडस्ट्री which supply their products or raw material to manufacture other goods. Now if similarly we talk about the consumer industry. So in consumer industries, that they produce goods for direct use by consumers. Now these goods are they doesn't have any 2 or 3 levels. They are producing these goods to directly used by the consumers. जैसे sugar होता है, आपका पेपर होता है, टूथपेस्ट होती है, ये सारी जो चीजें होती हैं, इन सारे प्रोडक्ट्स में ना कोई लेवल नहीं होते हैं. जैसे की और हमने अभी बात किया था वो बेसिक और की इंडस्ट्रीज में, दे डजंट हैव सर्टेन लेवल्स. दे आर गोइंग डायरेक्टली टू द कंज्यूमर्स एंड दे कैन कंज्यूम दीज लाइक ऑन द, मतलब जो डेली बेसिस पे चीजें वो यूज करते हैं, दैट इज इंक्लूडेड इन दीज कंज्यूमर इंडस्ट्रीज. So now we are clear with the basic on the basis of their main roles. Now there is certainly a difference between the capital investment as well. Now the investment that we do into these industries is also classified into 2 different categories here. So the first one is the small scale industry and the second one is large scale industry. To make it more simple to you, in small scale industries, if the investment is less than 1 crore, then it is known as small scale industry. अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट 1 करोड़ से कम का है किसी भी मतलब बिजनेस में या किसी भी इंडस्ट्री में, that will be considered as a small scale industry, but like run by some small number of people. They are having a small business, they have opened up their business and their capital they have invested is up to 10 to 20 lakhs or 50 lakhs like this. So it is going to be considered in the small scale industries. Like we are making certain automobile companies, मतलब जो छोटी छोटी काम होती है, जैसे फैन बनाते हैं या फिर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आइटम्स बनाते हैं या छोटी मोटी चीजें और में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. These are the things. Now if you are investing, if the investment is more than 1 crore, now if the investment is more than 1 crore, then it is known as large scale industry. Like because in such kind of industries, laborers are more. They are using big plants, big industries, big factories to make certain products. And like cotton textile industries are there, it is set up on a big level, so they require a lot of investment out of this. So उसको हम ले सकते हैं as a large scale industry because the investment is going to be more than 1 crore. Now if we talk about on the basis of its ownership, now the classification industry is there according to their ownership as well. So it is divided into 2 categories. The first one here is public sector and the second one is private sector. सो हेयर जो पहला है, मतलब इसमें पब्लिक सेक्टर भी है, प्राइवेट भी है, जॉइंट सेक्टर भी है, कॉर्पोरेटिव भी है, वैसे हैवी इंडस्ट्रीज है, लाइट इंडस्ट्रीज है, ये सारा जो है वो ओनरशिप में ही काउंट होता है, बट मेजरली जो काउंट होते हैं वो होते हैं पब्लिक एंड प्राइवेट वन. सो लाइक इन पब्लिक सेक्टर, टू सिंप्लीफाई टू यू, that it is owned and operated by the government agencies. So basically जो all these public sector industries that they have set up, it is owned and operated by the government agencies. So the government is the one who is investing in these particular industries and setting up these sectors, and they are the one who is basically giving these facilities to the people. So like BEL is the one, SAIL is the one, Indian Oil is the one, United India Insurance, then there is Indian Oils. All these companies are the public sector ones, which are like operated by these government agencies. Then if you talk about the private sector, it is owned and operated by an individual or a group of individuals. So now it is not owned by any and operated by any government agencies. They can be operated by an individual or a group of people who want to invest in and like make an industry. They can be a part of it. So they are owned and operated by an individual or a group of individuals. Like Tesco is the one, Reliance is one of the big examples, Tata, Bajaj Auto Limited, Dabur Industries. These are basically the private industries, and it is owned by the individual or the group of individuals. Now if we talk about the joint sector, so to explain joint sector, you can write down these notes as well. If I am speaking, मैं जो बोल रही हूँ वो आप लिख सकते हो, क्योंकि मैंने इसमें उसके प्रॉपर नोट नहीं बनाया, लेकिन आई एम स्पीकिंग, यू कैन राइट इट डाउन. So for joint sector, you can write that these industries which are jointly run by the state and individuals or a group of individuals. So here it is owned by the state government, मतलब इसमें गवर्नमेंट का भी उतना ही रोल है जितना एक प्राइवेट का है. सो इट इज बेसिकली ओन्ड बाय पब्लिक एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर. तो इट इज अ काइंड ऑफ अ जॉइंट वेंचर ऑफ पब्लिक एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर हियर, वेयर इट इज रन बाय द स्टेट एंड इंडिविजुअल्स और अ ग्रुप ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, ऑयल इंडिया लिमिटेड इज jointly owned by public and private sector. So it is one of the example I am giving you, that Oil India Limited company is jointly owned by public and private sector here. Now similarly, if we talk about the cooperative sector, you can write it down. These industries are owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw materials, workers, or both. Like these industries are basically owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of all these raw materials, workers, or both, and they pool in the resources and share the profit or losses appropriately. Now they are investing, उनका इन्वेस्टमेंट भी खुद ही का है, उनका कैपिटल भी वो खुद ही इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, उसमें जो प्रॉफिट होगा वो भी उनका होगा, लॉस होगा वो भी इक्वली वो एक दूसरे में बांट सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, शुगर इंडस्ट्री इन महाराष्ट्र and the coal industry in Kerala. It is clear? Now on the basis of bulk and weight of raw material and finished good, they are categorized into two more things, which is heavy industries and light industries. So if we talk about heavy industries use heavy and bulky raw materials and produce heavy materials. अब जो heavy industries होती है, मतलब जिसमें ज्यादा बल्कि वाला रॉ मटेरियल्स यूज होता है या फिर उसमें हैवी मटेरियल्स यूज हो रहा है, उसको हम हैवी इंडस्ट्रीज में लेते हैं, जैसे आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्रीज हो गई, तो दे आर दी हैवी इंडस्ट्री. नाउ इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द लाइट इंडस्ट्रीज यूज लाइट रॉ मटेरियल्स एंड दे प्रोड्यूस लाइट मटेरियल्स, बेसिकली इलेक्ट्रिक फैंस, वॉचेस, swing machines, etc. So they come under the light industries. So this was the classification of industries on the basis of variety of things I just talked about. Now we are coming to the next topic, which is the agro-based industries. So agro-based industries we have talked about, it is basically on the basis of their raw material. Raw material based are like cotton, jute, silk, woolen textile, sugar. These kind of industries are based on these agriculture raw material. Now first of all we are going to talk about the textile industry. So if we talk about textile industries are occupied and they have their unique position in the Indian economy because it contributes significantly to the industrial production, approximately 14%, and the employment generation rate is also 35 million persons. That is directly the second largest after the agriculture here. So basically these textile industries are one of the most important industry after agriculture थे. मतलब जितने भी एग्रीकल्चर चीज़ों की हम बात करते हैं, जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट में हो गया, प्रॉफिट में हो गया, या फिर इंडियन इकोनॉमी में अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन देने में हो गया, it is having its own position. It has having its own unique position in the industrial production, and it is the only industry which is self-reliant and compete in the value chain. So basically self-reliant is it doesn't require any other industry to power it up. It has an individual power to give away the value to any of the things there. So it has the power to be standing alone in the market and selling off their products into some good range. So it is उसको किसी की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Basically it can work on its own and maintain the profit which is still it is giving to the Indian economy. Now in that, the first one is the cotton textile industry. So if we talk about the cotton textile industry here, the first cotton textile mill was set up in Mumbai in 1854. So जो cotton textile industries are basically in they were produced like जितने भी हैंडलूम वेविंग टेक्निक्स होती हैं, या फिर 18th सेंचुरी में जो सबसे पहला टेक्सटाइल मिल बना था, कॉटन टेक्सटाइल मिल बना था, वो सेटअप हुआ था मुंबई में, दैट इज इन 1854. एंड द कॉटन टेक्सटाइल इज मेनली लोकेटेड इन महाराष्ट्र एंड गुजरात. अब व्हाई इट इज सिचुएटेड इन ओनली मेनली लोकेटेड इन महाराष्ट्र एंड गुजरात? Just because there is the availability of raw cotton as black cotton soil is present there. So if we are saying that it is mainly located in Maharashtra and Gujarat because there is more availability of raw material as black cotton soil which is present there. Then there is good transport facilities including port facilities which is the they can transfer it from the river the sea sides जो भी है वहाँ से भी they can transport all these products. Now there is availability of labor as well in these kind of areas more, and they have the good moist climate where this cotton can actually build up very fast. So these are few of the reasons why it is mainly located in Maharashtra and Gujarat. Now what are its main exports? इन हमारे जो कॉटन टेक्सटाइल मतलब जितना भी हमारा ये जो इंडस्ट्री है, ये सबसे ज़्यादा एक्सपोर्ट कहाँ पे वो हम करते हैं? सबसे पहले आता है जापान में हमारा सबसे ज़्यादा कॉटन जाता है. देन उसके बाद यूएसए, यूके, फ्रांस, श्रीलंका, नेपाल, ईस्ट यूरोपियन कंट्रीज एक्सेट्रा. सो हमारे जितने भी कॉटन टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री में जो दे आर प्रोड्यूसिंग ऑल दीज कॉटन आइटम्स, they are exporting these into these countries, and all these cotton textile is produced in 3 methods in India. So there are certainly different methods जिसके through they are setting up and producing these cotton textiles in India. First is the हैंडलूम को अगर हमें कैटेगराइज करना हो तो बेसिकली जो हम हाथ जो बहुत ही सबसे सॉफ्ट जो हाथों से जो बनती है, जो कि खादी कपड़ा जिसमें हम कहते हैं, दैट इज हैंडलूम. देन देयर इज पावरलूम एंड देयर इज मिल्स. सो देयर आर 3 कैटेगरीज जिसमें इन्होंने डिवाइड किया था, दैट इज प्रोड्यूस्ड इन 3 मेथड्स इन इंडिया. नाउ इट इन्वॉल्व्स ginning, it involves spinning, it involves wiping, dyeing, it involves designing, packaging, tailoring to produce this ready-made garment. Now they are having the rich cotton tech with them, but how they are producing the all these garments out there. So they are involving all these things, which is ginning, which is spinning, wiping, dyeing, designing, packaging, tailoring to produce all these ready-made garments out there. Now, what were the major challenges that they have faced in the cotton textile industry? So ऐसा तो नहीं है कि they are having profit ही profit मिल रहा है cotton textile industries में, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. They are also facing certain challenges. The first one is that there is a scarcity of good quality cotton now. Now, as you all know, that environmental condition has drastically changed, and now the quality that they required, the cotton that they are getting is, it doesn't have that good quality anymore. So there is a scarcity of good quality of cotton. And the second main reason is that main cotton growing area went to Pakistan during division. So mainly jitna bhi growing all these main cotton growing areas, it went to Pakistan during the division time, and we have certain areas with us which have rich quality, but it is not rich as it is going to be there with Pakistan. Like Lahore में की जो cotton की जो quality होती थी, that is at most the richest one it is possible. Even पंजाब में कुछ ऐसे areas हैं अभी भी जहाँ पे they are like plotting these cotton, and वहाँ की जो richness है that is very unique, but that we can't compare it to that of that Pakistan area में जो चला गया. Nowadays the machinery are old, like the investment जो होता है वो बहुत पहले हो चुका होता है जब ये इंडस्ट्री सेटअप हुई होंगी, एंड इट इज अराउंड 32 to 35 years 50 years इतना हो गया होगा इन सारी इंडस्ट्री को सेटअप हुए हुए. सो इनमें जो भी मशीनरीज होती हैं, जो भी functioning they are doing, they are not utilizing new technologies, they are including them, but the machines are getting very older, so it is the supply is also getting very slow. There is erratic power supply, so electricity issues almost ऐसे कुछ क्योंकि industries are set up in certain low background areas, so वहाँ पे electricity issues बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, power supply issues बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. Then there is low output from laborers. Laborers are also not giving their best output, so to कि वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा cotton निकाल सके. So they are not doing much work. They are not putting their 100% to make these cotton textile industries very successful. So there is low output from the laborers as well. Then there is certainly tough competition from synthetic fibers. Now, if we see that we are turning into some modern world, and we are not, much of the people are not using cotton clothes anymore. Like many of them using, but now people are like transferring into some other kind of fabrics. The synthetic fibers are there, अलग अलग टाइप के प्रिंट्स डालना, न्यू क्लोथ्स डालना, अलग फैब्रिक्स के डालना, तो they are like finding those very comfortable. But still I can say that the cotton clothes are the most comfortable clothes ever, but people are not buying certain cotton clothes anymore. They are moving to this synthetic fiber clothes more. So there is majorly tough competition from synthetic fibers. So these are the major challenges that they are facing in the cotton textile industries. Now these are the major industries, cotton textile mills, which are set up in India. You can see that from above it is Moradabad, Agra, Kanpur, Ujjain, Ahmedabad, Rajkot, Vadodara, Surat, Mumbai, Pune, Aurangabad, Chennai, then Hooghly. There's a lot of places out there जहाँ पे cotton textile mills हैं अभी, जहाँ पे ये setup है. So if you got a map work जिसमें आपको बताना हो कि what are the major cotton textile mills in India, so you can learn 3 to 4 names out of it, so that take the easiest one जो ये अच्छे से आपको remember हो सके, so that it could help you out in some way or the other. And this is the map. Please take one map and please do it also. ये map आप as a इसको अपने जो क्लास वर्क नोटबुक है उसमें पेश कर देना। यही ऐसे ही करना है, इतने ही जितने इसमें जो कॉटन टेक्सटाइल वाले जितने भी शेड्स दे रखे हैं ये सब कवर अप करने हैं। Now we are going to talk about the jute industries, or we can say that the jute textiles industries. So if we talk about the jute textile industry, India is the largest producer of raw jute and jute goods here, and there are about 70 jute mills in our country. So if we talk about jute is one of the fabric that India is one of the largest producer of certain raw jute and jute goods, and we are having around 70 jute mills in our country only. And first jute mill which was set up was in Risra. Risra is located in Kolkata in 1859. So the first jute mill that was set up in Risra, that is there in Kolkata, and it was set up in 1859. Now jute is used in making rope, bags, carpets, etc. You have seen that many people say that don't use these plastic bags, use the jute bags because they are eco-friendly. So jute is one of the things जिनसे हम ये bags बना सकते हैं, rope बनाते हैं, carpets बनाते हैं, which is very useful and it is eco-friendly as well. So most of these jute mills are located along Hooghly River in West Bengal. So most of these jute mills are located along this Hooghly River. Why it is there in West Bengal? Because the raw jute is available for West Bengal only. So the major raw jute where you can find is and which is available is majorly there in the West Bengal area only. It is very it is inexpensive water transport. So वहाँ से अगर उनको transport भी करना होता है from different areas, it is very inexpensive, the water transport. Then there is a good network of railways there, roadways there and waterways to facilitate the movement of these raw materials to the mills. So if they have to transport these raw material to these mills and these factories, they got a good network of railways, roadways and waterways to facilitate the movement of raw materials to the mills. Then they have abandoned water for processing raw jute. They have abandoned the water for processing these raw jute. They are having cheap laborers there from West Bengal, and they are adjoining states of like Bihar, Odisha and Uttar Pradesh. So they are also getting laborers at a very cheap rate, which is coming from West Bengal and the adjoining states as well, which is Bihar, Odisha and Uttar Pradesh. Now Kolkata is a large urban center which is providing banking, insurance and port facilities for the export of jute goods there. Now Kolkata is one of the leading one because they have the setup, जो सबसे बड़ा setup हुआ है of this jute mines, it is there in Kolkata only, and they are providing major facilities also for the exportation of the jute goods like banking, insurance, port facilities and so many more. So they are giving them good facilities so that these mills can work in a very good manner. Now there are certain challenges also that have been faced by these jute industries. So what are the major challenges that they are facing? So there is particularly a stiff competition in the international market from these synthetic substitutions from other competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt and Thailand. What is the major solution here? So like in 2005, National Jute Policy was formulated with the objective of increasing productivity, improving quality, ensuring good prices to the jute farmers and enhancing the yield per hectare. So these were the things that they have introduced this particular policy only for jute goods. Now we are going to talk about the sugar industries, which is also known as sugar textile industries. So India stands second as the world producer of sugar. So China is one of the biggest one, but India stands second as a world producer of sugar. India occupies the first place in the production of gur and khansri. So basically, most of the other countries don't use much of this gur and khansi. India is one of the first place where there was a production of gur and khansi, and the raw material used in this industry is very bulky. So it is there in a very large quantity. That's why it is the second largest agro-based industry after cotton. So sugar is the one which is counted as the second largest agro-based industry after cotton. And in 2010-11 there were over 662 sugar mills in the country, spread over Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana and Madhya Pradesh. So you can see that in so many states the sugar mills are there, and it is so in such a large number that I can't even count. It is you will find it in most of the places around you. So it is one of the second largest agro-based industry over cotton. Now most of the mills are near the sugar cultivated areas. So now all these mills are set up basically in the sugar cultivated areas. मतलब जितने भी शेल्स हैं जहाँ पे जो शुगर का रॉ मटेरियल बनता है उसी के पास में ही आपको आसपास में ही आपको ये सारे शुगर मिल्स मिलेंगे. Now again they are also facing certain major challenges. What are the major challenges? Are this that they include the seasonal nature of the industry. So basically they are facing like कुछ sugar जो होता है that is they are in certain season only. जो naturally we जो हम sugar उगाते हैं that is included in the seasonal nature of the industry only. So उसमें हमें डिफिकल्टी होती है कि वो सीजन जो सीजन आता है एंड हमें आउट ऑफ सीजन चाहिए होता है तो हम उसके लिए फर्टिलाइजर्स यूज करते हैं विच इज वेरी हार्मफुल. नाउ ओल्ड एंड इनएफिशिएंट मेथड्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, जो अभी भी जो ये शुगर के मतलब जो प्रोडक्शन होता है जहाँ से प्रोडक्शन होता है एग्रीकल्चर फार्मिंग में, दे आर यूजिंग ऑल दिस ओल्ड एंड इनसफिशिएंट मेथड्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. एंड वो जो रॉ मटेरियल से भी बाकी सारी चीजें बनाते हैं लाइक दिस शुगर एंड all these sugar mills are set up, they are also not using any new method of production, so that is one of the major challenge. Then the transport delay in reaching cane to factories is also one of the reasons. Then they need to maximize the use of bagasse. So bagasse is basically the dry, मतलब जो आपने गन्ने देखे होंगे ना, गन्ने में से जब उसका जूस निकल जाता है जो लास्ट में वो बचता है ना उसका वो ड्राई फल जो ड्राई है उसका वो जो बच जाता है उसको हम बैगेसी कहते हैं. उसके ना बहुत ज्यादा यूजेस हो सकते हैं लेकिन लोग क्या करते हैं उसका जूस निकालने के बाद उसको यूज करने के बाद उसको फेंक देते हैं. तो उससे जो हमें यूजेस मिल सकते हैं वो तो कोई करता ही नहीं है. Now sugar industries they are also facing certain challenges, that is shifting from northern to the southern India. So what are the major reasons about this? So earlier UP and Bihar were the main producer of sugarcane. If you have seen that the sugar is nearly possibly there in the northern side, more in the northern side, majorly in UP and Bihar were the main producers of sugarcane. Therefore most of the sugar mills were located in these two states only. But now the sugar mills are shifting towards Maharashtra, Karnataka because of certain following reasons that has been written here. Like per hectare production of sugarcane is higher in southern India. Now they are having bigger land to produce this sugarcane. So per hectare production of sugarcane is higher in the southern India. If we see from UP and Bihar, they are having big farm areas, big land areas, big acre areas to produce this sugarcane. So it is higher in southern India. Now the black soil is quite suitable for cultivation of sugarcane. Now in the southern plateau you will majorly find black soil and it is quite suitable for cultivation of sugarcane. Then rose content in the sugarcane is higher in Maharashtra and Karnataka. Now they just because of that तो जो उसका में से हम जो क्वांटिटी निकालते हैं sugarcane वाली जो क्वांटिटी होती है वो हायर होती है in Maharashtra and Karnataka. It means more sugar can be produced for less sugarcane. मतलब एक गन्ने में से वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा चीनी बना सकते हैं या गुड़ बना सकते हैं, कुछ भी बना सकते हैं अगर हम कंपेयर करें फ्रॉम द नॉर्दर्न एरियाज. नाउ मिल्स एंड मशीन्स आर न्यू इन सर्दर्न स्टेट्स. जो कि सर्दन स्टेट्स में अब नए नए सेटअप हुए हैं, तो दे आर यूजिंग न्यू मशीन्स, न्यू मिल्स हैव बीन सेटअप, सो न्यू एंड मॉडर्न मशीन्स आर इंक्रीजिंग द प्रोडक्टिविटी. Crushing season for sugarcane is longer in southern states. So basically, they are having a good amount of rainfall. They are having a good climatic conditions. So जो crushing season उनका है वो ज़्यादा है depending on the northern state. So it is longer in the southern states, and there is cooperative sugar mills. They are running successfully in the southern states more. So these are few of the reasons. If you got certain question that why sugar industry is shifting from northern to southern India, you can write these points. Now about the homework solution. So I have asked you about the importance of manufacturing. So you can write these points as an answer, like manufacturing industries help in modernizing agriculture. They reduce the heavy dependence of people on agriculture income by providing them jobs in secondary and tertiary sectors. They are helping in eradication of unemployment and poverty. It is helping in bringing down the regional disparities of establishing industries in tribal and backward areas. Exports of manufactured goods expand trade and commerce and bring much needed foreign exchange. And India should convert its raw material into a wide variety of furnished goods in order to prosper. Now the homework that I want to assign you in this lecture is, please explain the role of agro-based industries in Indian economy. So you have to explain this question, that what is the major role of agro-based industries in Indian economy. So if you have queries from this particular lecture, you can ask in the online class. I am here to explain you each and everything in any word, anything. You can read the book as well. So anything you are not able to understand, you can ask me there. So thank you so much class for listening to this lecture. Just take care of yourself.